Let's talk a little bit about how we dress in gyms and whether or not dressing for comfort or even dressing to show our bodies off means that we're objectifying ourselves in a way that gives other people permission to treat us differently. And, I don't think you're going to be very surprised that I plunk down on the side of no, how we dress has nothing to do with how people should treat us. But let's dive into the specifics. There is a subgenre of social media fitness post in which women are more or less scantily clad in the gym and not happy about the way that people interact with them, particularly usually men. And the response from people, usually men, is, if you didn't want to be interacted with, why did you show off like that? Hey, I have a very different perspective on this, I guess, because one of my close personal friends was stalked and harassed by somebody in his late teens or early 20s. And this guy just didn't want to take no for an answer. And my friend did not feel comfortable or safe. And I have no idea how he was dressed. I also know he's 6'4", but just because he's a big dude who can handle himself doesn't mean that he was comfortable with the way that this other person was treating him. I don't know how to treat women or anybody else any differently from how I would have wanted my friend to be treated, which would have been with respect and with somebody taking no for an answer the first time. Luckily, this didn't proceed to sexual assault, but I don't know. I'm just the kind of person who's like, my friend shouldn't have been made to feel uncomfortable once he said, no, thank you. Now, I'm also a queer person who usually hangs out in a lot of all-male spaces where many of us are very comfortable with objectifying each other. And in fact, many of us are looking forward to that. We are sometimes dressing for self-objectification, but it's contextual. And just because I interact in communities like that and sometimes seek them out doesn't mean that everybody else is looking forward to that. And what I'm going to say is, a lot of men have no clue how many signals they might be putting out for somebody with low boundaries to come up and say, oh, you're dressed in a very approachable way today. I'm going to approach you, and I'm not going to listen when you say, no, that actually isn't what I was looking for. I can walk into a gym almost any day of the week and find some guy who turns me on. It's not my business to ignore social cues and ignore boundaries and take advantage of that. Because guess what? I'm a human being who's here to be polite, respectful, and not go out of my way to make other people uncomfortable. Do I know that my mere presence will sometimes make other people uncomfortable? Yeah. And are there gray areas where I think that's their problem, not something I'm doing? Obviously. But once I understand that the vibe isn't what I thought it might be or what I hoped it might be, just because some dude has got a stringer t-shirt and muscles everywhere and looks like a snack, guess what? I'm an adult. And I don't think that my interest in somebody means that they're there for my interest. So, of course, there's a whole nother subgenre of social media posts where women are very upset that somebody was even looking in their direction for a half a second while they were filming themselves in the gym. And I'm like, well, good luck to you creating an environment where nobody looks at you ever because I have male friends who want that too, and they don't get it either. And meanwhile, I'm probably sending mixed signals because some days I'm dressed with lots of layers. Of course, it's cold and windy right now. And some days I'm underdressed, but that's because I'm there for myself. That's how I feel that day. And it's not for anybody else but myself. So if as a 6'3" person who presents like this is allowed to do that, I don't see why anybody else should be denied that opportunity. I think we should all keep our hands to ourselves, even though on social media, I've been known to flirt with men pretty openly, even when they were straight. They were men that I had already sussed out they would probably be okay with it, and I don't approach them. No matter how flirty I am, I don't approach them anything like I approach my queer friends, where we've already negotiated those boundaries. Sorry. So if some of the straight guys of the world want to create an environment where it's no holds barred and you look a certain way and anybody's allowed to say anything to you, hey, I mean, fair's fair. I'm 6'3". You might be who I'm interested in that day. I don't think you want that, and I don't actually think it's fair of me to treat you that way, even if you're being a giant asshole to some woman on the same basis. Grow up. Keep yourself to yourself, unless you have some kind of confirmation beyond, oh, well, somebody dressed in a way that turned me on. Yeah, it's not about that, and you should know it's not. And your status as a man isn't or shouldn't be the thing that protects you. It should be your status as a human being who has the right to say yes or no for your own self, the way we all do. Hey fam, if you've made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if this video or any of my others have entertained you, made you smile, taught you something, given you some support on your own journey for mental or physical health and fitness, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if that's too much of a commitment right now, please at least give it a thumbs up. You'd be amazed how much that does for the engagement on a YouTube channel like mine. As I film this, I'm closing in on making my 100th clip. And old-timers on YouTube will tell you that that's probably the minimum you need to get noticed by the algorithm. So I'm hoping as I get to that point and as I close in on 6 months to a year of making these, that the algorithm will start to prioritize me higher. And your thumbs up or a comment or a subscription will bolster that process. I don't object to making money at this, but right now I'm not sponsored. I'm not charging anything. I'm really doing this as a labor of love because of how much benefit I've gotten from this myself. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your attention. Go kick some butt, including your own, in a good way. Love ya.